Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
It's a great day. I'm Mark Imperial. For the past 7 years, I've scoured the globe looking for noteworthy experts, businesses, people, places, and things. On this special edition of the show, we'll meet some of the world's leading professionals in health, nutrition, and fitness, people from all across the country, around the world, and in your town. Welcome to the program. My next guest is Chris Borda from YesFitnessCT.com, and that's Yes Fitness in Connecticut. Chris, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
Chris, tell us a little bit about Yes Fitness Connecticut and the people that you serve.
Yes Fitness is a uniquely designed hybrid fitness coaching center for individuals that are 40 plus. People have this idea that there's a slippery slope or decline in your health after age 50 until you die, and that's just not true. You can actually improve your health, improve your level of fitness all the way up until your 80s. So we like to think of it as helping people get fit, feel younger, live better, reverse the effects of aging is what we look to do.
Hey, that's hugely important. You mentioned the word hybrid. Can you explain more about that? What do you mean by hybrid?
Well, hybrid is we're a smaller facility. We're about 3,000 square feet, and we're very private and we're very results driven. So everyone in our facility has individualized programs on what they're trying to accomplish. So we do private training or semi-private training in small groups, and then we do some small group training. So it's different than like a personal training studio or a large gym, kind of in between.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, tell us about like the experience from a first-time visitor of your facility. What's it like for them, and do they have any fears coming in for the first time?
Well, certainly one of the most difficult things for anyone is to walk through any kind of exercise facility for the first time. When we first bring someone on board with us, we sit down and we go through a strategy session. And in that strategy session, we find out information about how they've moved before and their health. We go through a screening process, something called a functional movement screen, to just get a blueprint of how the body moves and functions. We take some measurements for body composition and things like that to be able to show progress. And it takes us about an hour. From there, we design a program specifically for what they're trying to accomplish. So when someone first comes in our door, they always work with a coach in a one-on-one setting, so they get a feel for what our culture is like and how our programs work. We want to make sure that when they leave, they feel good, they have energy, they feel like they did a little bit of work, but not to the point where the next day they won't be able to go up and down the stairs and won't be able to sit down and things like that. So we really try to make sure that when they come in our facility, they feel comfortable. Since we're 40 plus, the people that are around them are their peers. It's all 40 people 40 and over. We don't have a lot of spandex. We don't have a bodybuilding look to it. Our music is set to that age group. So it's really a very friendly and comfortable environment for people.
So working with people 40 years or older, I imagine that they've been exposed to a lot of information about fitness in general. Do you find that there's confusion, or what do you find are the biggest misconceptions from the people that come to see you?
There is just a plethora of information out there. Some of it's good and some of it's not good. Probably the first thing that people need to understand is that you don't need to experience pain and discomfort to get gains, okay? You will get a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not to the point where they used to have the old adage, pain, no gain. We don't live by that. If you take a hammer, hit yourself in the hand, your hand's going to hurt, right? That's telling you that you did something wrong, you did too much. Well, if you did so much exercise, you can't sit down, you can't go up and down the stairs. If you don't feel good the next day, then you did too much. So we don't believe in that. That's one of the first things that people don't understand. The second thing that people understand is that they think that they're in their 20s and they can make changes in their body composition. They can lose fat by just exercising. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. So it's a lot of components to being able to create the lifestyle that they're looking for and to create the look they're looking for. certainly exercise is important. The nutrition is very important. How much sleep they get is important. Whether they be stressing or not is important. Whether they're taking the correct supplements to just make sure that the body is able to move correctly. So it's a whole big package. It's not just coming through my door, exercise, and I'm going to be great. Because I might only see you 2 or 3 hours out of the week, and you have all those other hours out of the week that you're not with me. So those are probably the two of the biggest misconceptions people have when they come through our door.
You can't out-exercise a bad diet. That reminds me of that scene out of the Eddie Murphy movie where he's eating all the chicken, and he's like, I work out every day so I can eat anything I want.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, especially as we get older.
So I imagine that a lot of people, do you find that a lot of people that come to see you are folks that have tried to get fit by themselves and somehow weren't successful?
We actually see both scales. We see people that have exercised before and they're just not successful. They've tried to find a nutrition or a diet that works for them and they just have failed. And they just haven't been able to find that success, that key. The motivation to get them to where they want to be. We really try to break it down for people to understand why they're doing what they want to do, so that helps them achieve their goal. That is, I lost my train of thought there for a second. You were talking about
essentially like what would working with a professional like yourself, how would that greatly improve their chances of success?
So we have people that come through the door that have tried and been unsuccessful, and we have people that have never exercised before, but they know that it's important in the aging process. They're looking in the mirror and they see their mothers and they don't want to look like that. They don't want to have those flabby arms anymore, that type of thing. So we get people that have never exercised before, and we get people that have and just have not been successful. And another thing that we deal with a lot are people that have injuries, not bad enough injuries that they need to go to physical therapy or physician, but injuries that just kind of kept them from exercising. They're worried that if they do it wrong, they're going to hurt themselves worse. So that's a big component of what we do here is acclimate them to exercise and take care of those contraindications to exercise and keep moving, get them to results. One of the biggest things that differs us, one of the biggest things that differs from us is we write programs for people. We don't write workouts. So when someone comes through our door, you're given a program. It's not just a workout. It's all the different things that you need to be able to do to achieve that goal. It's not just come in my door, work your butt off, drop dead, can't barely walk out the door, and then come back for more the next day. That's not what we do.
So, Chris, how did you get inspired and what caused you to become a fitness professional?
I can just remember as far back as I can remember, as a kid, my uncle passed away in his 40s, and for some reason that just stuck with me, and I always felt that I wanted to exercise to be able to live as long as I could. I was just kind of floating through life a little bit, and around age 30, I decided to go back to school and did a little internships here and there to see if I liked the industry, and I decided this is the direction I wanted to go in.
Right on. Hey, is there anything that we may not have covered here that you'd like to let people be aware of that might help them become successful with their fitness?
Probably the biggest key to their success is to determine their why. Figure out why you want to lose weight. Sure, we all want to lose weight, but I don't want to lose weight. I want to lose weight for my daughter's wedding. Well, why do I want to lose my weight for my daughter's wedding? I want to lose weight for my daughter's wedding because I want to feel great when I'm standing there in my clothes. I want to be able to move better. I want to have energy. Or I want to lose weight so that my husband is attracted to me again. It's the why that is going to help drive you to your results. Just to say that I want to lose weight or I want to be able to get up and down off the ground. I want to be able to get up and down off the ground so I can play with my grandchildren. It's the why that drives people. So if anyone who's thinking about exercising, changing, or transforming their lives, get that why, write it on a piece of paper, and have it in front of you all the time.
Chris, I really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on the program today. I wish you continued success. Hey, you know what? Before we go, tell people how they can get a hold of you if our listeners wanted to get more information or connect with you. How can they find you?
Probably the best way to get a hold of us is to go to our website, yesfitnessct.com, or they can find us on Facebook at Yes Fitness, Burlington, Connecticut. Probably the two best ways. You can welcome to email me at info, .yesfitnessct@comcast.net. Probably the best ways. You're welcome.
All right, that's terrific. Thanks, Chris, again, and thanks for joining us on the program. I wish you continued success for you and all of your clients.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
It's Mark Imperial. We're in the middle of a special edition for nutrition, fitness, and health. On this segment, my next guest is Ashleigh Sutton from Fitness with Ashleigh, based out of Houston, Texas. Ashleigh, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Ashleigh, tell us a little bit about your business, Fitness with Ashleigh, and the types of clients that you work with.
Yeah, absolutely. My business is in personal training and wellness consulting. Basically what that means is I mostly focus on working with people looking to lose weight. I help a lot of women, but also men. Ages can range between 8 years old to my most elderly client was 86. But really focusing on weight loss, helping people to live healthier lives through changing their eating and their workout routine.
Oh, I see. All right. So tell me, Ashleigh, what do you find is their biggest challenge when they come and seek out your help? What is the most common challenge that your prospects and clients face?
I think the hardest part is sometimes they're coming in with some baggage. They've tried a lot of things that have failed. And so sometimes they're coming in thinking, I've tried working out before. I've tried that diet, this diet, another diet. And they're just disheartened from the beginning. And it's always hard to start working with someone when they come in and the motivation isn't really quite there. The other challenge, if it's not that, is usually just making it a lifestyle change. That I really promote that. I don't do any fads or crash diets, but keeping it something that if I disappeared tomorrow, you can maintain what we've been working on for the next 10, 20 years of your life and be okay, be healthy and happy. But really making that change into your lifestyle.
So you mentioned that people have tried a whole bunch of stuff. What causes that? Is it a lot of information? And can you speak to what you feel is the cause for people not being successful with any other programs they've tried in the past?
Yeah, I think weight loss is a difficult thing, just in its nature. Even if you're doing all the right things, sometimes it's still just difficult because it's not the most pleasurable thing. And as regards to, not exercising and not eating right. But why people try so many, I think there is a lot of information out there, especially right now. I get a lot of clients that come to me showing Instagram and they're, I want to look like this model, or what kind of workouts is she doing? And, as a personal trainer who's been doing this for a little while, sometimes I look at the workouts on YouTube, Instagram, I'm like, oh, that might be effective in the short term, but if you really were to do that long time, you might injure yourself. If you don't do it just so, without the right proper instruction, you might hurt yourself. It's just a lot of information coming at people at once, so they try a lot of things without really knowing how the body works and what's really going to help.
So you mentioned, the importance of turning it into a lifestyle. What advice do you give your clients so that they can be successful and turn it into a lifestyle change for them without them, quitting so easily?
Small changes, baby steps. And we celebrate every little victory, every little milestone. So I usually don't cut people off of things too suddenly. There's a lot of promotion right now for low sugar or no sugar diets, no carb, things like that. But really, if someone's been, living a diet on different junk foods and processed foods, we cut that out right away. They're going to be in shock and withdrawal, and they're going to want off of that thing within a week. So I take baby steps, and we just encourage every little success that we have. And eventually, you do the little right thing over time, and we add another little thing and another little thing. And before you know it, it's just as natural as anything else that you do. So
you're working with people on more than just exercise. It sounds like nutrition as well. Could you give me a sneak peek at what an experience working with you looks like?
Sure. I definitely encourage using some different apps to kind of track and journal what we're eating so we can get a realistic view of what's going on. But I try to gauge everything according to the individual. I'm very big on customizing as well. So a 40-year-old guy might look a little bit different than for a 23-year-old woman with different weight loss goals, muscle goals, things like that. But I help them to customize a program that's something that will work for them. Really, you just cut out a junk food. And you guys come up and eating things that are a little more natural, that are easier to digest, and promoting things like that that are simple for people to implement, maybe a little out of the comfort zone, but something they can stick with.
Ashleigh, how did you get started? What inspired you to get into fitness and nutrition?
My background's a little different than most trainers. Most of the trainers that I've worked with, coworkers and things, have always been athletic. My story was more several years ago. I went to the doctor and she said, if you keep gaining weight like this, you're going to be at risk of diabetes, different heart problems, different things. My family kind of struggles with weight loss and things like that. So I kind of had a reality check. I'm pretty young. I'm only 28 now. So when this happened, I was still in my early 20s. And I had to make some life changes. Through that process, I knew it was something I wanted to do long term. I didn't want to lose 10, 20, 30 pounds and put them right back on. So I kind of navigated that field for myself and found it didn't have to be miserable, that it can be an enjoyable experience. You feel so much better. And as I felt better, I think a lot of people saw the difference in me and were inspired and asked me what I was doing. And I took the leap of faith to get into this business.
Is there something that we haven't covered in our talk this morning that that you'd like to make people aware of that might help them be successful when it comes to getting fit and healthy again?
I think not being too hard on yourself is one of the biggest things. You definitely want to try a few things. Work on cleaning up your diet. I don't promote doing anything too crazy, but just eating a little cleaner, exercising, doing what you can. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you read online that someone's promoting doing 3 hours of exercise, and maybe you're a single parent with 3 kids and t-ball practice to go to and working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and that might not be in your schedule, but do the best that you can do and just stay on it, stay with it. And that's the best anyone can ask for.
Ashleigh, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time. How can folks, our listeners, get a hold of you and learn a little bit more and connect with you?
Absolutely. I use my LinkedIn page for a lot of business purposes, and so people can see my background and what I'm doing. But you can find me on linkedin.com/in/Ash Sutton, ASHSUTTON. Or you can email me at fitnessashleigh, FITNESSASHLEIGH@gmail.com.
Ashleigh, thank you so much. I wish you continued success for yourself and all of your clients.
Thank you so much, Mark, and thanks for having me on the show.
I'm Mark Imperial. We're in the middle of a special edition for health, nutrition, and fitness. My next guest for this segment is Joseph Morstad from strengthandnutrition.com. I'm going to bring Joseph on the show and let him explain to you a little bit about the website, his business, and the people that he helps. Joseph, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, Joseph, tell us about Strength and Nutrition and who are the people that you work with?
Strength and Nutrition is my website that I've been running for a few years. It's designed to be beyond just traditional focus of strength and nutrition, but it's designed to improve those for people in the IBD and gut health communities. IBD is inflammatory bowel disease. It's something I was diagnosed with in 2008. And from that diagnosis and from the symptoms, I lost about 50 pounds. And for me, I was in the hospital for about a week or so, in and out a couple times. And when I was released from the hospital, I was incredibly weak from the weight loss. And so for me, getting up and down off the floor, walking to the car, getting, things along those lines were just so challenging that I figured there'd be some sort of resource in the fitness and in the strength and nutrition world on how to recover and regain that strength. And at the time, I couldn't find anything. So I ended up writing my book, The IBD Fitness Solution, as my attempt at a resource for people in that same situation. And since then, I've been working on my website and working on coaching people that might need that help. And that's where my website's targeted right now.
Now, before you started putting out your work to the world, in that area for IBD. Has there been a lot of information for people? How would people find you, or what did they find that could help them before you came along?
That was always a challenge for myself. Whenever I would Google exercise and IBD or fitness and IBD or anything along those lines, there's a couple resources, things like WebMD articles and CCFA, which is the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, is kind of the two biggest resources maybe. And everything that I found was along the lines of very gentle yoga, walking, this kind of very take it easy kind of approach. And while I understand and appreciate the focus of that, there's also an aspect that I felt for me personally was missing of, I wasn't going to regain 50 pounds of weight loss and muscle by walking or doing something along those lines. I had always been active. And so I kept finding the challenge of a lack of information out there for a way of getting started towards regaining strength.
So it's a lack of information as opposed to too much information that causes confusion. So tell me a little bit about, like, what did you find, and did you find any misconceptions that you learned about along the way? And what do you feel are the biggest myths or misconceptions that you found out there?
Through my research, I found that the research shows that there can be an importance and a need for exercise, but almost literally in the research papers, they say they don't quite know where to go on the next step. The doctors are obviously focused on the disease and the management of it. And so exercise isn't a high priority for them, but it's an aspect of life that helps someone literally get up and down off the floor. And so I think that's some of the information that I found. And some of the misconceptions that I'm working on challenging, I guess, is the fact that you can have IBD, you can have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or any sort of gut health issues. And when those are under control and manageable, that you can still have those and still be strong in whatever context of that strength is for that person. There's many different qualities of strength. It doesn't necessarily mean just being a weightlifter where you lift a heavy amount of weight. It can be multiple aspects of being strong enough to walk around your block or walk for a mile or two, or strong enough to get out and experience life again, and just strong to do whatever it is that person wants to do. So I think that's a misconception that I'd like to target and to help other people believe that they can, in fact, do almost whatever they want to do.
Yeah, can you give me an example? Like, what are they finding as advice, and that leads to a pitfall or common mistakes that you find people doing?
In the exercise realm, I feel that too many people start jogging or running too soon. I feel running is a relatively high level skill. If you watch an Olympic distance runner or Olympic sprinter, the quality and the way they run is just beautiful, and it's this just high level skill. And while running is a great ability and something that people can do, I think too many people, maybe people recovering from IBD, use that as their goal too soon. I think there's mobility work and some sort of strength and stability factor that people need to achieve before they begin jogging or running.
I could see that, and that probably causes, it's probably unsustainable perhaps, or maybe they'll end up quitting if they don't feel like they're getting results or they're in pain.
Yeah, exactly. Like it can be, it's a tough one because you can get into running very easily. All you need is a pair of running shoes. But yeah, to do it well, you need core strength, you need, glute strength, and you need just this ability of holding that posture while you add speed to that movement. And so on a continuum, that's sort of the farthest to one end of it. The first part, or a way to start, is something as simple as basically moving like a baby does, rolling on the floor getting up on your hands and knees and trying to crawl in place. And trying to just crawl in place is a great exercise on its own, but it's also a great self-limiting exercise where you can't overdo it. And if you're crawling, you're doing it well enough, but you'll notice how challenging that is to not over-rotate, to not lose your balance. But the better someone gets at crawling, there's a very similar movement and a big carryover from crawling to running. So I would advise anybody to just start practicing crawling in the house, and you can do it hands and knees, and you can bring your knees off the ground and make it a little bit more challenging. So it's just your hands and feet, but try crawling for a while and see how that feels, and notice how fun and challenging that can be. And then there's other progressions and things to get towards running if that's the goal.
I could imagine that telling somebody to get into running, that's, for people who are in the know, that's like one of the most extreme things you can actually ask somebody to do, because that's a very exhaustive sport, running in general, and it's something that most people can't sustain. So I can imagine that's very difficult. So that brings up the question, that's a form of cardio. So what is better for IBD? Is it cardio or strength and strength training, or a mix?
In my opinion, in the beginning, I would focus on the strength aspect first, the ability to control your body, the strength to understand, to be more mobile, to increase your mobility and your flexibility. And those are improved when strength is improved also. So the stronger somebody gets, the more the body is able to move in a bigger, better range of motion. And so getting strong with a balance of mobility work and stability work and core training and the focus on resisting movement. Crawling is another good example where you're working to not rotate. And so that is strength to not rotate, strength to not move as you're bringing one hand and one foot up off the ground from that crawling position. And so I would really I coach people to see the benefits from getting stronger that allows you then later on, whenever that phase becomes doable, if you're strong now, you're then going to be later on able to take that strength and use it in a cardiovascular manner if that's the case. But I think once the strength is there first, then the cardio can be used. Strength can be used for the cardio.
Joseph, you mentioned that you struggled with IBD yourself. To give us a little bit of your history, is that what motivated you or got you started, or did you start? How did you get started in fitness and nutrition?
I had been somewhat involved with it since high school. I played golf in high school and college, and getting into college, I honestly needed to get stronger to play college golf, to walk 36 holes in one day and then 18 the next day. So that was the start of it back in high school and college. And then it was just always something that I was interested in and something that was fun. And I got certified to be a personal trainer, I think in 2003, and played around with it. I did it part-time when I lived in New York City, and I did personal training part-time there. And then after the IBD and the weight loss in 2008, and the research and to find that there wasn't much information on exercise in IBD, that was really more of a motivating factor of, okay, I need to find more information on this. And, that led to creating the book, and then that led to the website and all that process there. And then that's just kind of the continuation of everything I do, weight-wise, exercise-wise. I've become certified in kettlebells, where you have to swing the kettlebell and do all the fun exercises with that. I look at it through the lens of how can this help someone recovering from IBD, reverse engineering what the strongest in the world do. So if someone's deadlifting 1,000 pounds, what principles and what qualities of that movement can someone that's recovering from IBD, that's trying to regain the 50 pounds, what similarities can that person use? And just getting that feeling of being able to control the body again, because not being able to control your body is painful and frustrating. But when you can regain that and you can feel like I can do anything I want to do physically again, it opens up so many other areas of your life.
Joseph, how can our listeners learn more about you and connect with you, how do they find you?
Best spot, easiest place would be strengthandnutrition.com. And there's some email information there if they'd like to email me. And I'd love to speak and talk to anybody that's interested in learning more about this. And my book is also on Amazon, the IBD Fitness Solution.
IBD Fitness Solution on Amazon. Okay, terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you and thank you for your time coming on the program today. I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of our Health, Nutrition, and Fitness Special Edition. If you know a remarkable expert, business, person, place, or thing that we should feature on the show, drop me a line on my email, radioguest@markimperial.com. That's radioguest@markimperial.com. Until next time, I'm Mark Imperial. Take care and make it a remarkable week.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.